with Kyle Evans. Grow with Kyle Evans.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet. Kyle Evans coming to you on the ones and twos. Happy day, happy G.R.O.W show. Welcome to your daily checkup from the neck up, man. Had an awesome time in South Atlanta yesterday, speaking to some great agents out there. And today we get to do the same with each and every one of you, wherever you're listening to this morning. I've got a great show today, man. Something popped up and was fun to look into and kind of study and do a little research on. So I trust you're going to enjoy it too, especially with a title like Why Stupid Ideas Make Smart Money. Why stupid ideas make smart money. There is a genius more often than not in dumb ideas. Some of the most profitable ideas in history started out sounding real weird, sounding real stupid, sounding real dumb. A drink that tastes like crap, a cereal turned sideways, a car ride that doesn't actually arrive any faster. Yet every one of them made millions of dollars. Millions. Why? Because humans don't run on logic. We run on psycho logic. Think about that. Humans don't run on logic. We run on psycho logic. Today, I want you to think about this, man. Open your minds, open your ears. I want to talk about how marketing isn't necessarily about making sense. It's counterintuitive, right? Like marketing isn't always about connecting the dots. Sometimes it's about making impact. Sometimes it's not about convincing the rational mind. I think that's where we get it wrong. It's not always about convincing the rational mind. In fact, a lot of times it's about seducing the emotional one. We say this in bold. We've said this in classic bold. We say this in MAPS coaching. Why is it not about convincing the rational mind, but seducing the emotional one? It's because logic makes people think, but emotions make people act. There's this guy named Rory Sutherland, and he's the author of a book called Alchemy. He has a great TED talk on this. And this is where I got this idea and started, making this show today real quick. Is he had this quote, and it said, "The human mind does not run on logic any more than a horse runs on petrol." The human mind does not run on logic any more than a horse runs on gas. If you're building a brand, if you're building a team or even a message, you've got to stop always trying to be perfectly reasonable. And sometimes we need to lean more into how can I become psychologically irresistible? Now, to become psychologically irresistible, you have to understand how people operate. Let me give you a great example of how this showed up for the world, if you will. There's this little drink called Red Bull. Bad taste that we now love. That's $1 billion signal. The initial feedback from Red Bull was disgusting. You would have to pay me to drink this. It tastes awful. They said that the can was too small. This tiny can, no one's going to pay for that. They said the price was too high. But that's exactly why it worked. Sometimes your flaws can be your signals. Bad taste Well, it tasted bad. So in the psychological mind, they said, hey, this tastes bad, so it probably works. The things that they're saying that it does with energy and mindset and gives you wings, because it tastes bad, that means it probably works. If it tasted super good, it probably wouldn't be real. Small can? Ooh, baby, that doesn't mean that you're getting shorted. That doesn't mean that there's less than. That means it's more potent. We can't give you a big can. This is way too potent. We got to give you a small can. High price, status. So things that were flaws, things that the market poo-pooed, bad taste, small can, high price. There's no way this can work. Now it's one of the biggest drink companies in the world. Here's your takeaway. Here's your application from Red Bull. Don't fix your quirks, market them. Don't fix your quirks, lean into them. Don't fix your quirks, identify with them. Your weirdness is your weapon. Let me say that again. Put it on a t-shirt, tattoo it on your heart, because I've leaned into this for the past couple of years. It has worked out well. Your weirdness is your weapon. Said another way is normal doesn't get noticed. There's this thing called Eurostar, right? Train company. They wanted to spend, or engineers wanted to spend $3 billion making the train faster. They said, our customers want speed, our wait times are too long, this is not sustainable, we're going to get left behind, people are going to stop using us, we're going to go broke because our trains aren't fast enough. So the engineers were like, here's the plan, it's going to cost $3 billion and it's going to save 40 minutes of time. Thank goodness they didn't do that. The engineers could only think about how to make it faster, but the psychologist said maybe speed isn't the actual problem. You see, Sutherland said in this talk that instead of spending $3 billion, they spent $6 million on Wi-Fi instead. Instead of $3 billion on new tracks, they spent $6 million on Wi-Fi. The journey itself did not change, but the experience shot through the roof. They were happy. They were okay with the wait because now they had a luxury. Their boredom was gone. They could do things. Their experience rose. Think about this for your practical application. Before solving your business's problems with money, ask, can I solve it with perception first? Man, I got this juice for you today. I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're listening out here. This is some nuggies. Instead of solving with money in your business first, ask the question, is there a way I can solve this simply with perception? You guys heard of a little thing called Uber? You see, one of the downfalls with Uber is they couldn't necessarily get you picked up any faster than a taxi. So they didn't make that the thing. They leaned into the fact that people don't hate waiting near as much as they hate not knowing. People don't hate waiting near as much as they hate not knowing. When Uber showed the map, nothing got faster, but everything felt better because they could see where the car was. They could see their wait time. They knew how much time they had until they got picked up. Almost exactly. Confidence rose because their knowledge went up. The safety aspect, the anxiety went down, safety went up because they could see where everything was. They knew their timetable. Uber's one of the bigger companies in the world. The application for you to think about with this is, in your business, show progress. Show your map. Let your customers, let your clients know what's going on, where they are in the process. People don't hate waiting as much as they hate not knowing. People don't need to arrive automatically, but they need to believe that they're getting closer to the thing, to the location, to the destination. I'm talking to you today. I hope you're listening. There was this cereal. I love this example. Cereal called Shreddies. All right. Shreddies. They rebranded. So Shreddies, for your wisdom here, was just a simple square cereal. They rebranded as Diamond Shreddies. Let that process. They were a square cereal called Shreddies. Then they rebranded and made a big marketing push called Diamond Shreddies. All they did was rotate the cereal. They didn't invent a new cereal. They just turned it and took a picture and called it something different. And people went nuts. It was so successful for the company. They started offering combo packs, the square shreddies and the diamond shreddies side by side. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the exact same thing. But the perception was different. Sometimes your next $1 million idea is just a new angle on your old product. Maybe you just need to rotate your messaging, not your ingredients, not who you are. It's probably just your messaging, your marketing. My last one here for you is elevator mirrors, the cure for distraction. Companies found, hotels, places found that people were tired of waiting for elevators so long. They started putting mirrors out. Same elevator, same speed, way fewer complaints. Why? Because the time that they were spending had way less boredom. Distraction came into play. When they were distracted, they weren't thinking about how long the elevator was taking. The mirrors let people look at themselves, self-groom, check themselves before they wreck themselves, or even avoid eye contact in a crowded space. It makes the idle time feel less awkward and more pleasant, which raised the satiety of people getting on the elevator and lowered the complaints. All they did was add a mirror. Guys, we have to, and this sounds weird to say, but it's so true. We have to stop thinking so logically. The application for your business is people rarely need a faster result, but they need a different feeling while waiting for it. Leaders, myself included, often overbuild solutions when we should reframe experiences. Write that down. Stop overbuilding solutions, start reframing experiences. So when I call this psychologic, here's 4 principles of it. Number 1 is signaling. Make your value visible. Make your value visible. The map with Uber, right? The can with Red Bull. Show commitment through effort, not explanation. People don't buy what's best. They buy what looks best. They buy what feels best. Number 1, the first principle of psychologic is signaling. Number 2, satisficing. I know you're going to hate to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. More often than not, good enough beats perfect. More often than not, good enough beats perfect. Perfection can be expensive. Clarity, however, is very profitable. Number 1, signaling. Number 2, satisficing. Number 3, subconscious hacking. Change how people feel before you try to change what they do. Change how people feel before you try to change what they do. Perception is persuasion, said simply. We know this. We all know this. Why aren't we focusing on it as an important lever to pull? Perception is persuasion. The last piece of this, there is a gap between what is real and what is felt. There is a gap between what is real and what the consumer, the client, the person feels. A slow elevator with mirrors feels faster than a fast elevator without them. Think about that. A slow elevator with mirrors feels much faster than a fast elevator without them. Why? Because distraction comes into play. What I'm feeling, my experience of it, often differs from the reality of the situation. Guys, my challenge to you today, this week, this month, I want you to test one stupid idea. I want you to test it. Think of something silly, something that feels too simple, something that might feel too bold, maybe too illogical to work. Like, think about this. Let's go rock the boat, bro. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's a marketing campaign. Maybe it's a hook that breaks your pattern. Maybe you can raise your price and call it premium confidence pricing. Maybe if you're a smaller team out there or a solo agent, reframe that flaw as a flex. What if your tagline was, hey, we're just small enough to actually care? Does that stand out? Oh, yeah. Reframe your flaw as a flex. Maybe you should market the wait list instead of, hey, we have a wait list, as, hey, this is a super exclusive product. That's taking the scarcity and making it a good thing and not a bad thing. It's a twist, right? The shreddy is the square to a diamond. Maybe take an old service and rotate it. Change the angle, not the core. Logic builds products. This thing, psychologic, builds brands. The truth is, we all need to understand this at some point. Our customers' brains, our consumers, our clients' brains, heck, our brains, they're not calculators, they're storytellers. More often than not, we're not buying based on data, we're buying based on drama, baby. We don't want facts, we want feelings. That's why the craziest ideas often change the game, because they speak to the psyche and not just a spreadsheet. The next time your idea is too weird, too out there, I want you to remember this episode. Every stupid idea was stupid until it worked. Every stupid idea was stupid until it worked. My last line for you today that I just cannot get enough of. Your weirdness is your weapon. Normal doesn't get noticed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I want you to go out there. I want you to embrace some of these marketing tactics, and I want you to start thinking, start noodling. What can you do to be a little different? What can you do to stand out? What can you do to be a little weird? What can you do to tilt 45 degrees? What can you do to challenge the status quo? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, Kyle Evans signing out today. Go have a great one, man. Go make it awesome.
Grow with Kyle Evans.